Now while you're watching this video, please remember to like, share this video, subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon for notifications of future videos. Thank you. Well, hello there. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I have for you yet another short video. Very short video. Right? As you can see, the title suggests, was the Sabbath given at creation before Sinai? This is what we want to talk about. Guys, this has been a video that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. In fact, I have several videos that I want to do for a very long time because the topics are so much, right? I have to take them one step at a time. So at long last, I have touched a subject like this, or I am going to touch such a subject like this. One of the central reasons why many Old Covenant believers believe that the Sabbath is still mandatory and binding upon all New Testament Christians is because they believe that it existed before the law. It predates the law of Moses, right? And as a result of that, there is simply no way it could have been done away with. Right, guys? There's simply no way it could have been done away with. So what we are going to look at, just a few LNG white quotes. Please pardon the dogs that you hear barking in the background. I hope that you will be able to hear me nevertheless. Now I'll be sharing 3 quotes from the book Patriarchs and Prophets. Quotes: after resting upon the 7th day, God sanctified it, or set it apart as a day of rest for man. Following the example of the Creator, man was to rest upon this sacred day, that as he should look upon the heavens and the earth, he might reflect upon God's great work of creation, and that as he should behold the evidences of God's wisdom and goodness, his heart might be filled with love and reverence for his Maker. In Eden, God set up the memorial of his work of creation in placing his blessing upon the 7th day. Listen now, the Sabbath was committed to Adam, the father and representative of the whole human family. Its observance was to be an act of grateful acknowledgement on the part of all who should dwell upon the earth, that God was their creator and their rightful sovereign, that they were his works, they were the works of his hands and the subject of his authority. Thus the institution was wholly commemorative and given to all mankind. There was nothing in it shadowy or of restricted application to any people. So it was for all mankind, not for one set of people. It was restricted to any set of persons. It was for all mankind, and it was from the time of Adam. This is what Ellen G. White is saying. God saw that a Sabbath was essential for man, even in paradise. Now this part is important. He needed to lay aside his own interests and pursuits for one day of the 7, that he might more fully contemplate the works of God and meditate upon his power and goodness. He needed a Sabbath to remind him more vividly of God and to awaken gratitude, because all that he enjoyed and possessed came from the beneficent hand of the Creator. Now, all of this that I just quoted from you now, you don't find that in the Bible. First and foremost, you don't find the Bible stating that the Sabbath was committed to Adam. You don't find Adam even keeping any Sabbath anyways. Right? If you look on the account of Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, right? When Adam was created, he was created on the 6th day. The commandment to keep the Sabbath says that 6 days they shall labor, but on the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God, right? 6 days you labor, but on the 7th day you rest. So when Adam was created, the first question that you should ask, what need would he have for a Sabbath, right? That God would say, hey, Adam, remember the Sabbath now to keep it holy, right? 6 days you shall work, but undo all the labor, but on the 7th day you shall rest. What need would Adam have for a Sabbath? When you understand what the Sabbath is, and the purpose of why the children of Israel was given the Sabbath, right? It was to commemorate their redemption. In particular, that was said in Deuteronomy chapter 5. How they labored hard and so forth. They were under strict servitude, right? Adam was not under these kind of labor, right? As a matter of fact, before sin, he never had to till the ground and all these things. So hard labor is something that Adam wouldn't have known, right? By then, he would still be eating from the tree of life. So the body that Adam would have had then is not the body that we have now, because he was eating from the tree of life, which gave him immortality. So with an immortal body, he wouldn't have a body that would be in need of a 24-hour rest period. This makes it totally bizarre for Adam to have even been keeping a Sabbath. When you think about it logically, it makes no sense whatsoever. Remember that Adam was eating from the tree of life, you know. He had an immortal body, a body that can't decay or die. So what need would he have to rest? What need would he have to rest? Unless they're going to say it is after sin, right, that Adam was given the Sabbath. And this is not what Ellen G. White says. It's at creation it was committed to Adam. You understand? And even if she says after he sinned, she would then have to go in the Bible to find where after Adam sinned, God gave him the Sabbath. And we don't find anything like that. We don't find anything like that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read something to you from Nehemiah. Right? And I'll be using, let me see, which translation would be the best translation to use now. Let me use the ESV. You came down on Mount Sinai and spoke with them from heaven and gave them right rules and true laws, good statutes and commandments. Right? And you made known to them your holy Sabbath, and commanded them commandments and statutes and the law by Moses your servant. So notice in verse 14, it says that God made known unto the children of Israel his holy Sabbath. Right? God made known his holy Sabbath. And when did he make his holy Sabbath known? When he came down on Mount Sinai. This is what Nehemiah says. Nehemiah says that this is when God made known his holy Sabbath. When God came down on Mount Sinai, you find that in Exodus chapter 19 and 20. Right? So this totally contradicts the idea that the Sabbath was given at creation. Nehemiah says it was at Mount Sinai that God made known the Sabbath. No, it is true that the Sabbath was first mentioned in Exodus chapter 16. Yes, it was mentioned in Exodus chapter 16. However, it was not made known until Exodus chapter 20. There's a difference, You mentioning something and making something known is two complete different things. Right? You mentioning something and you make something known is two different things. Let me give you an example. This is a Samsung Galaxy J7. The phone that I'm using right now is a Samsung Galaxy S9. Right? I'm not the phone type of person. I don't know much about the various... Apologies, guys. I don't know much about the various different phones and the different features and so on. I bought my S9 from a coworker of mine. Right? I budget to actually get it. And he's a techie person. He works in the in IT department still, so he's techie, right? He told me about that he has an S10, right? So for instance, he came to me on August 5th, right? And told me that he has an S10. On August 6th, he's now telling me about the S10, the features and so forth. The difference between S10 and S9. August 6th, he made known to me, right, what an S10 is all about. However, he mentioned S10 to me on August the 5th. You understand the difference? So this means that before August, how should I put it? Before August 6th, I had no knowledge whatsoever on what an S10 is. Right? Though I heard the name S10, that Samsung has gone to an S10, right? I would have known, and I knew that on August 5th, but I would have known about the S10 on August 6th. So it is with the Sabbath. But Exodus chapter 16, and you see where the Sabbath was first brought up, right? You see God give Moses some instruction to give the children of Israel, right? And verse 20, it tells you that despite the instruction that Moses gave to the children of Israel by God, they didn't hearken unto what Moses said, right? And in verse 23, this is when the word Sabbath was first mentioned. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord had said, tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which ye shall bake today, and see it that he will see it. And that which remaineth over, lay up for you to be kept until the morning. Right? And further down, verse 26, it says, 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. Right? And as you read further down in verse 27, it says, and it came to pass that there went out some people on the 7th day to gather, and they found none. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? Right? This is what God says, because the children of Israel, they broke God's commandments, right? In keeping the Sabbath. Now notice, that God wasn't enraged or anything, Sure, he expressed his displeasure, but God was not enraged with them, because this would have been something new to them. I know this is not something that SDs or Sabbatarians are going to want to hear. But if you really look at the context of the verse, you can see that God, at this point, God was very patient with them, because they are hearing these things for the very first time. So surely they wouldn't take God's instruction serious, because they don't even know what's the purpose of the Sabbath yet. All they were told is that tomorrow is the Sabbath, do this and don't do this. But they didn't know, in a sense, at that point in time, what the Sabbath is all about, or why they are even given a Sabbath to begin with. Nowhere in Exodus chapter 16 they were told what the Sabbath is, right? Or why they were given the Sabbath. And I'm going to show you something different here. When you go to Exodus chapter 12, right? And it's telling you about the unleavened bread or the Passover. Right? In verse 5, it says, your lamb, hold on. Verse 7, sorry. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on two sides of posts and on the upper door posts of the houses, wherein they shall eat it. Right? So they were told to kill. A lamb. Was it a lamb? Yes, they were told to kill a lamb, and they were supposed to take the blood and strike it on two sides of the post. Right? When you look at, let me see here, verse 17. Or before we even reach verse 17, God told them the reason why the reason why they should put the blood on the posts. It says in verse 12, for I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, against all the gods of Egypt. I will execute judgment. I am the Lord, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. Right? So God tell them the reason why they should put the blood on the post, Right? And in verse 17, they were told the reason why they should keep the Passover. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. For in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. So God is telling them that this is why they are to celebrate this feast. It is to remind them that God passed over them then. That is why it's called a Passover. When he struck Egypt, he passed over them. So God gave the reason why they should actually keep this. and just about every one of the rituals that is basically given to them, God would always, right, in most cases, he would tell them the reason why they are doing this. Right? God tells them the reason, but when it comes to the Sabbath in Exodus 16, they were just told to keep the Sabbath, but they wasn't told why they were given it, nor were they told the purpose of keeping the Sabbath. It is at Exodus chapter 20, they were actually told the reason why they were given this. Deuteronomy chapter 5, both in Exodus 20 and Deuteronomy chapter 5, that is when they were actually told, or the Sabbath was basically explained to them or made known unto them. So now do you understand why? Now do you understand why Nehemiah said what he said, that it was when God came down on Mount Sinai, he made known unto them his holy Sabbath. Right? And so this is why in Genesis chapter 2, when you look at the word rest that they oftentimes use to promote mandatory Sabbath keeping, right? The Hebrew word for rest there means to cease. It is translated 47 times as cease, 11 times as rest, 3 times as away, twice as fail, once as celebrate, and then there is 7 other miscellaneous times when it's translated. So never is it ever translated as Sabbath, right? Because the word rest there, it is actually a verb. The Hebrew word Shabbath, it is actually a verb, right? Now, when it comes to the Sabbath now, however, there is an entirely different Hebrew word that is actually used in talking about the Sabbath, and it is Shabbath. So the first one is Shabbath, and this one is Shabbath. It's a total different thing, and this one is actually a noun, right? So the verb Shabbath was mentioned in Genesis 2, signifying God resting, and when it says rest, it means seasonal, because God has no need to rest. God stopped his work, right, on the 6th day. He ended his work. He ceased. No more work as it pertains to creation, because God cannot rest. He has no need to rest, right? And this is why to say that a Sabbath was basically instituted at Genesis, it's actually a foolish idea, right? Because the overall purpose of the Sabbath signifies resting, right? But God did not rest. God ceased from his work on the Sabbath day, or on the 7th day, should say, sorry, right? If noun is the name of an animal, person, place, or thing, right, that would simply means that the Sabbath was instituted in Exodus and not in the time of Adam. It was at Sinai, not in Genesis, not during the time of Adam, Jacob, Abraham, or Israel, but during Sinai. The institution, the known Sabbath, was given and instituted at Sinai and not in Genesis. This is clear, and this is evident to any critical thinker. So this poses now, a huge amount of problems for SDAs, right? Because for the normal persons who are not Sabbatarians, or who perhaps don't even know SDA theology, you're saying to yourself, what the hell? Because when you read Genesis, you don't find it stating where anyone was keeping the Sabbath, right? And you don't find the Sabbath mentioned up until Exodus. So in your mind, you're thinking that the Sabbath started at Exodus, but you're hearing now that it was actually at Genesis. And this is precisely why Ellen G. White says the thing that she says, because in order for them to sustain this teaching, they need the writings of Ellen White, because you cannot read the Bible and get any of these ideas that they're actually getting, because it makes no sense whatsoever to think that Adam would even be given a Sabbath. Adam, who had an immortal body, right, who was eating from the tree of life, have no need for a 24-hour rest period. And so this is why Ellen G. White had to say the plethora of things that she said. I'm going to put the quote in the comment section for you to see it. talking about him needing to keep a Sabbath to remind him of God's work of creation and all kind of different things. You notice she couldn't mention anything about resting because it would be nonsensical to think that Adam would need rest. This is why she brought out those things that she brought up, because she knew that Adam wouldn't have any need for resting. You understand? If only my Seventh-day Adventist friends would just put away Ellen G. White and think and look into things for themselves, then they will see that their arguments makes no sense whatsoever. Right? And with all those reasons that she's saying that man needed to dwell on the work of creation and so on, that's not the reason the Bible said the Sabbath was given. It's not the reason why God said the Sabbath was given. If you read Exodus 20, right, it tells you it is because God sees from his labor, right? And so this is why he commanded them, right? 6 days God work, on the 7th he rest. So you are to do the same. Deuteronomy 5, it tells you that it's to commemorate their redemption. These are the two reasons that it tells us they were given the Sabbath. So all those reasons that Ellen G. White mentioned for man to keep the Sabbath, you don't find it written in the Bible. And so this is why it is hard for Seventh-day Adventists to see, right, that the Sabbath was not given at creation. It is because of Ellen G. White. But you see from what I presented that what she's saying is basically false. So with that being said, I end this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Bye bye now.